Hey guys, welcome to today's video. The thing we're going to be talking about today is the 5 best tuck spots for a galleon when you're in Sea of Thieves. The reason why I want to talk about this is because I've been seeing a lot of questions on the Reddit about people wondering about how to get better at PvP and things like that. So I think tucking on ships goes hand in hand with PvP, of course. So I figured, why not go over some of the best tuck spots when you're on a galleon? Because the galleon, in my opinion, is probably the most common ship you will be tucking on and stealing from. I know sloops and brigs are a bit more common to see, but in most cases, you're going to be wanting to tuck on a galleon because it's a little bit easier to do so versus a brig or a sloop. Sloop's definitely the hardest to tuck on just because there's a lot smaller space for you to hide on. In a brig, usually people on a brig, you can still run into a crew of 2, which most of the time those kinds of people are paying attention. But before we get into that, just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoy the video, enjoy these tips, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to see any of this stuff in action, check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Kapt. You guys can tune in there, see all this kind of stuff in action, ask me questions in the chat, anything like that, and yeah, just kind of get to know me and let me get to know you a little bit better, and thanks for tuning in. The first spot on a galleon that we're going to be talking about is probably my personal favorite spot. It's a pretty common one. It's one that I see a lot of people do, so this probably won't be, any new spots, ones that you may not have heard of before. This is more for, like, the beginner type of player in Sea of Thieves. It's just kind of getting into tucking and wanting to steal their first chest. Hopefully it's in Athena. Good luck to you guys out there that are doing all that. But the first spot I want to talk about is the Captain's Quarter. So this spot is a very common spot, as you can see when you get on this ship. By the way, this is a ship that I have docked at an outpost. This is my own galleon, so there's nobody on this ship. This is just for, demonstration purposes. But in a perfect scenario, when you can get into the captain's quarters, you're going to want to go behind the chair. And the emote that you're going to be using is the sleeping emote. For me, it's the Z key. When I hold that down, I don't know about you Xbox players, how you emote and stuff, so good luck on that one. As you can see, if you walk into the captain's quarters, you can't really see it all that well. I've tucked into the spot many times and gotten away with a lot of loot from the spot. And it's also a really good spot because you can see a lot of the other ship when people come on the ship, when people come off the ship. So it's a good spot to get a lot of information. This is definitely number 1. Now, the second spot that we're going to be talking about is also another common one. It's one that people use a lot of the time, but in my opinion, this is not the best spot. This is just going to be entirely scenario based. It's depending on the situation, things like that. So this spot is going to be in the crow's nest. This one's a little bit harder to get to because you're climbing up on the ladder, you're out in the open, everybody can see you, all that kind of stuff. So you definitely want to time this one just right. But if you can get up here, it's a pretty good spot once you get there. It's just kind of, not the best spot because people like to put their gunpowder barrels up there, so you have a higher chance of people actually walking up there. In some cases, people won't notice you, so definitely tuck in the spot at your own risk, but again, it's a really powerful spot, one that gives you a lot of information, and it's good to, if they do happen to put a gunpowder barrel up there before you get up there, you can also tuck inside of one, which conceals you even more, so you have a higher chance of actually not getting caught in that spot. So coming in at number 3, this is the third best spot in my opinion that I think people should utilize a little bit more. Again, this is entirely scenario based. The spot is not the best in every situation. That's why, the captain's quarters tuck was number 1. That's usually the best no matter what kind of situation you're in. If you can get to it, you're pretty golden, no matter if it's daylight or anything like that. This spot in particular is probably better for those nighttime tucks. It's definitely harder to see you when you're up here. And but if you jump on top of these sails, you can usually tuck on them, and that gets you out of the crow's nest, and people, aren't really looking on top of their sails. Not really common eyesight for people who are sailing on galleons. So this spot is definitely pretty good. It's about just as good as the crow's nest. You're a little more exposed in this spot, but it's one that I've used a couple of times. Coming in at number 4, this is going to be the cannon tuck. This one I've seen quite often as well. This one is pretty risky in my opinion. I don't do this one too often. I don't know if I just have bad luck with these, but I kind of get found here somewhat often when I do this, but it's a tuck spot nonetheless, and you might be able to get away with it. Not everybody checks this. Maybe I just tucked on the wrong person when it happened to me, but nonetheless, here's the spot. You tuck right here, and as you can see, when you're if you were on the ship walking around, you hop in on the cannons and stuff, you can't really see this spot, So you're kind of hiding in plain sight for sure, but it's definitely a spot that I've seen work for other people. Maybe this spot has worked for me one or twice, but definitely not often. But it's definitely a spot nonetheless. But yeah, this is definitely a spot that you can get to pretty quickly. Once you tuck there, just kind of chill and hope they don't see you. So coming in at number 5, this is the last spot on my list. Before we get into that 5th spot, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you've been watching this long, by all means, these are just my opinion. These are just my favorite spots that I've used to tuck on ships before. If you've got any other spots that you recommend, definitely leave a comment and let other people know. We're here to help teach people how to learn Sea of Thieves. There's a lot of new people coming in, so before I show you this spot, in my opinion, I think this is probably the best spot. It's kind of hard for people to see you just because of the way people's natural eyesight, the line of sight is for people running around on the galleons. So this spot is definitely super powerful and super good to get into, and you get all of the information that you could ever need in this spot. Who's getting on the ship, who's getting off the ship, what loot are they bringing on, all that kind of stuff. The other spots definitely have a limited vision. You can't always see everything most of the time, but again, these spots are entirely based on the situation, things like that, depending on which will be best versus not. Thanks for watching so far. If you're enjoying the video, make sure you subscribe, and again, check me out on Twitch. I usually like to play Sea of Thieves and a bunch of other games, so if you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to hit me up on there. Also, my Twitter link is down below if you guys want to reach out to me on Twitter. And yeah, let's get into the last spot. It's one that I've seen kind of rarely, not too often, probably because it's very, very difficult to get to. Because especially on a galleon, there's usually somebody on board, so it's kind of hard to get to, but you can get to this spot. You're pretty golden. Lots of people don't see this spot. I guess if you're looking for this kind of thing, of course it's easy to see, but you got to keep in mind, lots of people get on not really thinking about somebody tucked on their ship, so this is a spot that they're probably not going to know. So as you can see here, you get in front of the wheel, use that sleep emote. You kind of want to line it up slightly angled, because when you sleep, your guy doesn't lay down, exactly the way that you're facing. So just kind of keep that in mind. Practice this emote, practice this this tuck on your own ship. I highly recommend that, so you can get it dialed, so that way you don't have to spend too much time readjusting after you lay down and everything like that. This is definitely a really good spot. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys like those tuck spots, and I hope you learned something new. If you enjoyed the video, again, subscribe, hit me up on Twitter, check out the streams and all that kind of good stuff. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or ask me during a live stream. My name is Kapt. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.